In a world, 4 friends, 1 mission.
Mikey, what are you doing?
I'm doing the thing for the podcast.
It's not that hard, bud.
Dude, just say the name.
Fine. It's the Freedom Friends podcast.
Well, it's been a minute.
What do we talk about now?
I don't know. I've missed so many weeks in a row. I forget what the fuck.
You missed like 2.
Did you know that
Feels
French
like
fries
way more than that.
were never
Yeah.
cooked in France?
The what?
Did you know that French fries
Here
were
we
never
go.
cooked in France?
I did not.
They're cooked in Greece.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I actually like that. 0. That is fat free. That is a fat free joke about fat.
That is lean.
That is lean fat joke.
Yeah, it's a
That's
lean fat joke.
fucking
That's me. I am
Whatever it
lean
takes to
fat.
get through your day, buddy.
yeah, lean fat. Not me.
I'm not skinny. I'm just lean
thick.
fat.
I'm
like
thick.
Thickums.
I got the thickums. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Freedom Friends podcast, brought to you by warfightertobacco.com. Use the code FTFO. Screw yourself that sweet 15% off. owellness.us for all those CBD treats and needs. Go over there, use that code FreedomFriends25. It'll get you a quarter off your order. And of course, Icy Tech coolers for those who get it. Go to icytech.com. Use the code FreedomFriends10. Get you 10% off. And check out our affiliate link with Grill Your Ass Off. Go to grillyourassoff.com/FreedomFriends podcast. John's not here
Yeah.
because he's still off gallivanting.
Yes.
That's what he does. He gallivants. But we got Big Jim filling in, a fan favorite.
Yeah, a fan favorite. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
It's a small following.
Yeah.
Two people
Yeah.
and my dogs.
You're my favorite guest host, buddy. I give you a solid 9.5 out of 10.
Thanks,
Yeah.
pal. What do I got to get for the? I know what I got to do for the other
You
half.
know what you got for the other half.
Yeah.
You got to earn that.
It's
other
going to be
half.
surgery, though, because
Never given, always earned.
9.5 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
Funny guy.
Yep.
I got to get one in an episode when you're
You
here.
got two. You
there's-
got the dad joke. That's enough.
No, you're.
oh yeah.
I got it. Yeah.
We can't not talk about your nubbins.
Yeah. It's a classy
And you
show,
know what
man.
I was
We
going
gotta
to say? That intro was like flawless, but fuck you now.
Yeah. It's a classy show, man. We got to do it with the pinkies out.
I mean, I better be good at it by now, man. I've been doing it for
that was
4
fucking
years.
badass. I mean, sometimes you might stumble. Yeah, it was fucking great.
You got the
Thank you,
fuck you
thank you.
from Jim. That made the intro flawless.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
There you go.
Now we're right back to
All
where we
is
needed to be.
right
Yeah.
with the world.
Yeah.
But I'm Mikey. That's Jazz. Scott is to my left because he's back, man, from your travels.
Yes. It was interesting. So went to Nicaragua for a couple days.
Yeah.
We hosted some guests down there and built a good relationship, and
Thanks for the invite.
more to come on that probably. And then we went to Panama. John and I went to Panama straight from Nicaragua. And I will say this, I didn't know what to expect going to Panama. We landed and it was a
Lansing, Michigan.
huge airport. The fucking airport in Panama was huge. And it's like we landed in a mall.
It's like JFK.
I don't know. Every shop known to man. It was.
Is it like a big hub airport?
It's like
Oh, yeah.
DFW.
For like down there? Is it
Yeah,
like a
I
big
think-
like
I think
bounce
it's-
airport to get into like true South
Yeah.
America?
I think
must be.
it
I wonder
looks
if
like
that's-
DFW. Like if you like the international terminal at DFW,
Well, I don't
that's
know.
what it looks like. I think.
It was huge.
Like any of you guys ever flown through Bahrain?
No.
Like
Yeah.
done that airport.
Well,
If
that
you
airport,
can buy it,
that-
it's in that airport.
that
Yeah.
airport is a mini version of Dubai.
Or sorry, no, I mean Dubai.
Oh,
You've
yeah.
flown through Dubai.
Uh huh.
There isn't anything known to man that you can't buy in Dubai.
Truth.
And it's wild because it's a completely dry country and it's the most impressive liquor store I've ever been in my
Yeah.
fucking life.
It's a dry country except the airport because you can get fucking shithoused at the Irish pub there in Dubai airport.
I got shithoused in the Irish pub in my hotel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because once you check in, like the way they build the hotels there is that so you'll have like whatever, we'll just throw names out because I don't remember them. You'll have like the Holiday Inn next to the fucking La Quinta next. These are not the.
I stayed at a Holiday Inn in Dubai. So
I think ours was a
there's-
Holiday Inn, to be honest. It's a little weird though because you walk in, there's like a picture of the king and shit, and you're like,
Right.
and I don't mean Elvis. I mean like, so you're in there and
like
you're
an
like,
actual, like a sultan.
and when you're in the lobby, it's very, very quiet. And you mind your P's and Q's because in the lobby, it's the equivalent to being on the street in Dubai. Like in the lobby, you are not checked in yet. So you still have to like, don't be an American. Like
Yeah.
you just have to shut the fuck up. But once you there's like a glass door, and once you pass through that glass door,
I've stayed in this exact same hotel.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're
it's
talking
like
about.
2 miles from the airport.
It's right there.
Because most of the flights in, you're there
You
overnight.
walk in, the bar's to the left.
And to the left, there's an Irish pub.
Yep.
But there's like that hotel, and then there's like a wall, and then another hotel, and then a wall, and they all share this courtyard together, and that's where
Yep.
the pool is and everything. But you walk out there, and the whole thing is just like Budweiser umbrellas, and it's the wildest shit. And you're just like,
So you couldn't drink here.
So through that door,
Weirdly enough, there's also
If-
Irish Village in Dubai that's not even close to the airport.
that's where they keep the slaves. So
That's also true.
that's but like on the street, like I wasn't with my wife, but if I was like with my wife and held her hand, I could get arrested. Walk through the glass door into the pool area, and I can get fucking shit faced, and she can go topless, and it's fucking all Gucci. Like,
Nice.
it is the weirdest place. But that airport, if you've ever heard of it, and I mean from a pack of Wrigley's chewing gum all the way up to like, do you want to buy a $4 million condo? You can do it all in that airport.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, it's wild.
There was a game there where you had to you could reach in and grab this gold bar, and if you could get the gold bar out of the
Right.
box, you got to keep it.
Yeah.
And now a gold bar is not exactly light, and this hole is maybe that big around. So
My paws are too big.
that's what gets most people is they actually can't get the bar back out. But then also the grip and wrist strength that you need to fucking like
Yeah. I need Haley to go there.
rotate a fucking.
I think Haley could do it.
Sure.
She got little hands. She's strong as fuck.
like
Yeah,
a
that's a
raccoon.
next level though. That's just at Planet Fitness, just wrist curling at 30.
What are you doing? Training. Fucking air. I'm going to Dubai next month. I got to be ready.
But if you could pull it
It's
off, it'd
all
be worth
fun
the
and games.
$1,500 plane ticket.
Fucking
You
right.
just go and then
All
fucking-
fun and games, so she accidentally rips your dick off.
Yeah. Come here, honey. I'm training.
Hey, you know what?
Please no.
If you get that gold bar money though, you'll be able to sew it back on.
Go,
Yeah.
what a hell of a way to die.
One of the guys I was traveling through, I went through there, had a laser pointer in his bag. And my first question was, who the fuck still uses laser pointers? And second, why do you have that in your carry-on? Like, what's wrong with you?
I
And
was
they're
go-
like,
I was
what
going
do you have in
through
your
there.
carry-on? Goldfish. Like, it's Dubai. Bro,
he had the,
don't
la-
fuck up
he
in
had
here,
the
man.
laser that you were supposed to mount to your goldfish.
There was my buddy Andy's a former Navy SEAL, and we were going through Dubai, and he accidentally had a Glock 17 mag in like a weird side pocket, and they were like,
when you saw him 4 years later, how
they're
was he
yelling
doing?
at him, and he was just like, he just went like this. It was the most Navy SEAL shit I've ever seen. He goes like this. He goes, okay. He grabs it out of the guy's hand, and he walks over, and he drops it in the trash can, and he goes, just walk the fuck away. And they were like, all right.
Yeah.
That was it.
Because they're like you can stay in the airport. There's no hotel.
You
but
can
you
rent-
can just
There's fucking apartments to rent there.
yes.
Like hourly rate apartments to go take naps and shit.
Yeah. The problem
What?
is the hourly rate though is roughly what your mortgage is. Like
Yeah.
it's
Does it
it's
come
bananas.
with?
No.
Now you can get like a 5-hour fucking like little sleep pod for like
Yeah. But
$50 or
our
something.
flight was like 20 hours later or something like that. So
Mm.
we were it was like, oh, we're gonna go shower and all
I
that
used to
stuff. But
plan layovers
yeah.
because I knew I was going to get some
Dubai
time in
airport's
Dubai.
wild. I didn't get to go see the fucking Burj Khalifa though.
Mm.
And I wanted to because I had my drone with me. And
Will your drone go that high?
yeah,
That's
my drone
impressive.
has a what do those have? They had like a 14,000 foot ceiling or something.
Wow.
Fuck,
really?
I
Yeah,
haven't-
they're wild.
I haven't flown a drone in
it-
years.
you have 5 miles of connectivity with it with the remote.
Dude.
The reason we can't fly them high enough here is they're FAA regulated.
Yeah.
And that's why I never fly mine anymore. Because if you turn it on at all, the controller, it links to your phone. And that's how you control the flight. Well, the phone knows where you are. And then it's tied in. The app to control the drone is tied into the FAA database. And so every time you turn it on, it's just like, this is a no-fly zone. This is a no-fly zone. It's a no-fly zone. And it's because when the drones got really popular, that's why you don't see them just
Yeah.
zooming around everywhere anymore. People were like, fucking, they were like bird strikes for these
Yeah.
planes. Like they were running into drones and shit.
Yeah.
There were a bunch of planes that were getting delayed because people were trying to get like footage of planes
Of a plane
taking
like
off.
flying over
And
the
it's like-
drone and shit.
You're in an FAA spot, like you've just
Yeah.
grounded all these planes, right?
Well, because
Like,
when they first did the FAA restriction, if you were in an FAA flight zone, you just couldn't get above
I think it was like 50 feet. Or
yeah,
something
50
like that.
feet or 60 feet.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is it's like, okay, planes still have to take off. Like there's this window of space
Yeah.
that you're like still trying to occupy. And but I've seen videos of guys that have flown the Burj Khalifa and they'll fly it up and then they do like a nose down descent and
Oh, that's-
wrap the building. And
that's
they've done it
pretty
in
cool.
recent years. And I was there several years ago and I was like, I want this fucking footage because I could sell the shit out of this. Because when I was there, the Burj Khalifa was only like a year old or something. So it was like,
Yeah.
I'm just going to put this shit on the stock footage sites. I'm going to get some like roundabouts and all that shit. I'm just going to sell this fucking footage.
Well, I want to skydive the Palms there. Like the Palm
Yeah, because
Islands.
they have a jump spot on the Burj Khalifa. Like you can just walk out and just jump off the building.
The problem is you have to have a D license.
Yeah. You have to have a
Dude.
base jumping license or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. That I'm never fucking getting. 'Cause
And,
I have no
uh,
desire to base jump.
You also need to have a shit ton of money because fuck me.
Yeah.
The problem, you can see some wild shit, and flying into Dubai is insane because and they bank the planes and shit because you can only fly in on Qatar
Yeah.
or on a not Qatar, fucking Emirates.
Emirates
Yeah.
And
or Safi if you're coming
But-
from Afghanistan.
Really? There's no like United flights?
no, absolutely
Really?
not.
No,
No, because the UAE owns Emirates Airlines.
no, I flew Delta there once.
I guarantee you that was an Emirates bird with Delta flag on it.
Oh, well, it,
Like
They might be
guarantee
an
they own
affiliate,
that
it,
bird.
it didn't have Emirates shit in it. I know that.
Oh, yeah,
Because
it's like-
an Emirates flight is awesome.
They're amazing.
They're
You
the
can't drink.
best.
You can't drink, but fuck me.
They
The
have
rest
a
of the
walk-up
flights are-
bar.
Oh, upstairs.
Yeah, there's a walk-up bar. I got upgraded to first class on an Emirates flight once.
Oh, that must have been like
Emirates
was-
flights are
Dude,
amazing.
Dude, you get an apartment in the sky.
Yeah.
It's fucking amazing. It's
Emirates
so
flights
amazing.
are awesome.
You take showers. The shower's almost like half the size of this fucking room.
They bring you a shower kit when you fly Emirates. If you're
Yeah.
flying
They
international,
bring you
on Emirates,
pajamas.
they bring you pajamas and a shower kit, and
They-
you
Wow.
get
Yeah.
you get a time slot where you can go into like shower
Yep.
mid-flight.
They
shit.
make your bed. They like, and when you go shower, you come back and your bed's made. Like your fucking first class seat folds all the way into like a queen, like a king size bed. Not a king
They
size,
fall
like
flat.
it just folds
Fuck.
flat, but
Yeah.
it's like
They're-
a full size bed.
Their regular
a
seats,
single.
Their regular seats are American first class seats.
Yep.
Wow.
They're like double wide. You have a fucking 17-inch screen that you're watching, and they gap the seats out enough where even a regular coach seat, you can go almost flat. And then they bring you like an eye mask and little slippers, and
The food's fucking good. Like Emirates has got it figured the fuck out.
but it's owned by the UAE. It's owned by the country.
Mhm.
So when you fly in on it, they will bank the plane. So they'll come around in the approach to the airport. They will bank the plane so that you can see Dubai, and then it lands.
That's
So
cool.
It
Yeah.
could land more direct, but they're like, we literally changed the map of the Earth when we built this city, so
Yeah.
we're gonna show it to you. And the airport's wild. Even flying over that thing is.
So if a guy goes to Dubai for a week vacation, what's there to do besides everything?
Anything you
Irish
could
villain.
anything you could think of, it's you just I'm not gonna lie, and I'm a patriot and I love my country. You cannot go there and act like an American. You
Yeah.
will go to jail.
Yeah.
But they
Like-
got like you can rent like Lamborghinis. Like we did
You
that.
can
Yeah.
you can rent
You
any
can-
supercar.
There's like a tank world thing that they have.
They,
like a
um,
Mad Max world thing.
They have that. It's the world's deepest indoor
Oh,
dive
yeah.
center.
It's like-
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you
And
probably
when
go
you-
skiing or something.
And there's the indoor ski
skiing thing. Yeah.
thing. But when you dive that thing, there's like
It goes down like it's like 250 feet or
it's,
some
yeah,
shit. It's
like to
something
the point where you
bananas.
have to have like the highest level license to be able to dive it.
Yeah.
And then, but like there's rooms and shit where they sunk like a Mercedes SLK and just like parked it on one of the, so there's all these rooms you
Yeah.
can go dive and shit. There's an indoor ski, like mountain skiing, like snow skiing inside. It, like
Well, when you've got fuck you oil money and there's nothing else, and
Yeah.
half your population are slaves and aren't
yeah, because I don't know if you know how the
UAE.
people that
Yeah.
work there.
Yeah.
So you go to work there, and when you land, you sign a 3-year contract to work, and they take your passport,
Yeah.
Oh,
and you
Yeah.
you cannot leave the country until
Human
your contract's
trafficking
over.
at its finest.
And then they put you in a fucking compound.
But the food's great, and so yeah, it was wild because I'm in
We'll tell you
Dubai
though, you
and I
get
walked
paid
into an
well.
Irish pub, and the guy behind the counter was Irish as fuck, and I
Yep.
was like, and
That's
he served me a fucking 55-degree Guinness that was pulled on a manual tap, and I was like, holy fuck, like y'all don't fuck around, like
Yeah.
you
They imported all that shit from Ireland.
And so
Including the Irish
literally
guy.
all those experiences that are there to do all that kind of stuff, it's all brought in from that country.
Yep.
There's
So it's
nothing
as
there.
genuine as you can
They
get.
built that country out of sand, out of nothing. So
Well,
Well,
then
that's
aren't
when
they
they-
building that weird city that's like
yeah,
all like one wall?
That's not in the UAE,
Is that-
but yeah, it's called the Line.
the line.
yeah.
I thought that was in close to Dubai.
The 15-minute city.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get everywhere in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But it's so it was just that rendering, and now
Yeah.
they've actually started like cutting through the desert to fucking put this thing in, and I'm like, holy fuck!
Oh, dude, those guys, at least I will say one thing. They put their fucking money where their mouth is. They're like, I'm going to build the world's tallest building. Why? Because I want to. I want it, so I'm going to do that.
And what's wild is like there's no
camel racing.
businesses in the Burj Khalifa. Like it's
It's all residential.
it's some of it's residential, and the rest of it's like it's business, but it's like retail. Like I mean, there's not like
Is it a mall? I've never been in it.
pretty much,
It's like a mall.
but that's yeah. So like
It's a 400 fucking story mall.
yeah, like it's
fucking
kind of
bananas.
fucking wild. Like there's residents and stuff in it too, but it's not like it's an office building. Like they spend a bunch of money to generate more money, and so the super wealthy go there and they're like, well, I want to ski indoors, and it's
You
like,
can-
okay, sure.
For those that can't afford to go ski in Switzerland or something.
Well, I guess you've already skied all of Switzerland, so now
So
you
you're
need to go
bored.
ski in the
It's
desert.
desert.
Like I don't.
Yeah.
I almost went to the Spartan World Championship in Dubai. I had an invite. The schedule just didn't work out.
163 stories.
Phew.
Huh.
You could base jump the fuck out of that.
Yeah, you could. It's not even difficult. Like,
No.
that'd be
That's more than enough time.
I think I've skydived less than that. Like,
There's
shit.
also that slide on the outside of it. It's like an encapsulated glass slide.
Oh,
And
yeah.
you slide down
you can slide down it.
not the whole thing, but it's a portion of it that you can slide, and then you like slide back into the building and shit
Get
like
the
that.
fuck-
But
I
you
would-
slide on the outside of the building.
I would fucking do that.
It's when you're
and
going
it's
from
clear
like
bottom and like clear walls and shit. So you're just like
Just
yeah,
out there.
Okay.
Yeah, that I would do.
that's one of their designers went on like a carnival cruise and saw the water slide and was
It
like,
was like-
we can make that bigger.
And clear. Let's give people heart attacks.
Yeah, it's just Astroglide glass.
But you need to keep in mind it's an Islamic kingdom.
Yeah.
And so it's not one of those like if you get a chance to go visit, I highly recommend it. It's mind boggling the
But
level
would
of
it be
human
would
engineering that went
would
into
it be
But
like I'm going to spend money to go on this vacation?
yeah, I'd do it.
Yeah?
I'd probably go. I think it's like, it hits me like Vegas. Like go for like 3 days.
Yeah.
You don't want to be there for like a week or 10 days.
Yeah.
3 days, see everything. But it's not like Vegas where you're just going to go and be like, I'm going to be shit faced for 3 days. And it's like, you're going to jail. You're
Yeah.
like for long periods of time.
See, you say that, but then you also talk about all these Irish
They
pubs.
have all
As
that
long as
stuff.
you stay-
They cater to the West.
As long as you
just gotta know
as
where
long
you
as
gotta
you
go.
stay in there. Like, so
It's-
you can't do that and then go out in public.
It's super
Yeah,
weird
like-
though, because to get to Irish Village, I think you can be drunk in a car. I think that's allowed. Because to get to Irish Village, because you can get fucked up, and while you're in that village, you're fine. You can get fucking hammered. There's like 6 or 7 areas.
But that's the other thing is like getting picked up from that
fucking
Irish pub at the
shit-faced.
hotel. There's like but you remember it out front. It's not like a canopy. It's like a tunnel
So are
that
there like
the cars pull into, and that's where you
Yeah.
get in. So you're never like in public. And so
so is there like a topless beach where there's like all these chicks in burqas and
Well,
no
it's-
tops on?
it's
No,
the
that's-
desert, man.
That's more Europe
Oh.
than I guess Dubai is technically Europe.
Technically,
Yeah.
it's I mean, keep in mind it's the fucking desert.
Yeah.
Like
It's
one of the
hot.
reasons I
It's
didn't go to the
fucking
Burj
hot
Khalifa
there.
is that I think it was 119 outside, and I was just like, I'm not.
It's 119 outside today.
I'm like, I'm not going over there.
So is that just all office building then?
No, it's like a giant tourist trap. Like it's stores and
If you've got a lot of money,
It's-
it's
huh.
it's that kind
it's
of
stores
touristy.
and experiences and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's wild. It's some of the wildest shit you'll ever see. It's literally the definition of when everybody has fuck you money, what happens to a city? And it's like Dubai. That's what happens when
Yeah.
everybody, because these are guys that walk in and go like, well, I had a 1 of 10 Lambo, but my neighbor Ahmed bought one. So now I don't like the fact that we both have one.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to buy these 3
So can you
because
go?
these are the only 3 in the country, which means nobody else can have it. Like,
Can you go there being a average?
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Like it's not
And
going to
seriously,
cost
like,
me 20
I
grand.
think I was spending like $6 a beer. Like it wasn't like it's untouchable. It's just that there is some shit that you're not going to be able to pay for.
You want a pro tip if you do travel to Dubai? And this is for everybody out there listening too. Right when you get into customs, there's a desk on your left. And there's just a dude standing there. There's no signs or anything. You just walk up to that guy, all right? Because you'll look up and you'll see all the fucking custom lines to get into the country. And there's right to your left, there's a desk, and then around the little corner, there's another like room that you go into. But you talk to the guy at the desk first. There's a lizard crawling underneath your fucking thing right now, Justin. By the way,
Oh yeah, a lizard in the window.
Little gecko hanging out. You're gonna murder it?
Don't kill
No,
it.
I'm gonna put him on my knife and put him outside. Y'all do the podcast. Jesus.
You
He saw
brought in
you-
lizard
He
murder.
saw you come and he left.
Yeah. So
I'm intimidating to someone.
about time. Congrats, buddy.
Thank you.
But you go there, you talk to that guy. It's $100, and they print you an ID,
Mm-hmm.
and that ID makes you an official member of their Ministry of Interior. So once you have that ID, and they hand it to you right there, I have one at home. I'll bring it in for you, and it's all in Arabic. I have no idea what the fucking thing says. All right, but then you
It
walk.
says this dumb white guy was willing to give me $100 for this ID.
But if you're gonna like, at the time I was contracting, so I was going through Dubai every fucking time I moved, right? So I was going through there a lot. And when you have that kind of a travel schedule, this fucking helped a lot. So instead of going through customs regularly, it's kind of like global entry here. You go all the way to the right, you scan your little car and walk right the fuck through. You never talk to anybody.
Also,
It's the best.
if you've had any customs experience at all, you know that most countries it's a fucking nightmare. Dubai, you go through customs in about 2.5 minutes. They have it's got to be what 60 booths, 70 booths.
There's a lot.
And it's a glass booth, and there's a dude in every single one of them.
Yeah,
so it's not like Walmart where you go and it's like all checkouts and they have 2 cashiers. Every single one of them is manned.
Yep.
And there's maybe a guy or two ahead of you. Maybe.
Yeah.
But the thing is, everybody knows you don't fuck around.
Yeah.
So you go up to the line and the guy in front of you goes like, do you have anything? And he's like, nope. And you've already sent your shit through security and everything. And they take your passport, they scan it, it
There's
checks
also-
the global database, and they stamp it, and you walk back out.
He's back.
And unless you do stupid shit like you bring lasers and shit, and then they're like, but yeah, I went through I had camera gear and all sorts of shit, and they didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Not like fucking getting out of Africa with all my camera gear, and they're like, what is all this for? And I'm like, it's for taking pictures. What? I'm leaving, by the way. Like, if you were gonna catch me, like
come on,
it's a little
back,
late
man.
now.
Yeah, I had body armor with me.
Yeah.
And they were like, what the fuck? And I was like, it's my job. And they were like, all right.
Yeah.
So, just, yeah.
But the thing is that everybody kind of understands in that country, you don't fuck around. And so, because if you do, you go bye-bye.
Yeah.
So they're like, you can have body armor, you can have cameras, you can have whatever, but but you hold hands in public though, it's fucking over.
Unless it's another dude.
Only on Thursdays, you know the rules.
I don't know. I watch some motherfuckers hold hands all the time. They hold hands all the time.
I don't get it though, man, because I didn't want to touch myself. It was so fucking hot there.
Yeah, right.
So this is different. We have air conditioning.
Yeah.
I'm okay with this. So fucking clammy there. And it's like right up against all the water too. So it's 119 and like 90% humidity. Like, this is
yuck.
It's pretty gross.
Yeah.
My
Well,
favorite thing out of Dubai is the videos of the guys that are like drifting their cars on like a straightaway highway at like 80 miles an hour. And you're just like, oh, someone's gonna die. Someone's gonna die. I fucking love those videos.
Do you know why you can do that? Why they drift those supercars and shit on the highways there?
What's that?
There's like a thin coat of sand
Yeah.
on them. Because they built this bitch. I shit
Oh, yeah.
you not. It's the weirdest
It looks
shit.
like the fucking Sahara.
Because
And then they put just a road on
like,
top.
you've flown in.
Yeah.
It's the weirdest shit. You'll be looking out the window and it is that golden red sand.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden it's just Dubai. Like there's no like outskirts. There's no nothing. Like
Yeah.
it's just,
It looks like Vegas.
it's wild.
It's like how it's just desert, nothing, and then boom.
Yep.
And then nothing. It's like the same thing.
and but that road there's like a thin coating. It's like a fucking
They don't have snow plows. They have sand
it's
plows.
like a shuffleboard table.
Yeah.
Like there's this thin
it's
coat of
just
sand.
dusted. Yeah.
And but that whole abandoned car thing that everybody hears about in Dubai, the abandoned supercars, that's fucking real too. Like you'll go and you're just like, how do you have an inch of sand on that Gallardo. And it's like, well, that dude parked it and just
Probably died.
well, they either leave the country or apparently they literally get bored of it and they just go buy another one and they just leave the shit.
Yeah,
I'm like, y'all could fucking make a couple more billion just selling off these fucking abandoned
it's
supercars.
true. Well, it's like you ever meet like the equivalent of like an E3 in the Kuwaiti army. They all have like fucking Porsches and fucking like Testarossas and shit. Like they're all driving like fucking supercars to work.
Yeah.
And they're just like,
Get that
yeah,
fucking oil money.
yeah, they all got fucking oil money. And it's like, and they're like,
Well,
locked,
Kuwaiti is
like they're one of the richest countries in the world.
well, no,
man.
they're mandatory service, aren't they? Don't they have the 2-year mandatory?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I thought
about that.
Kuwait was one of the countries with the mandatory service.
It would make sense. It's fucking tiny too. There's like 4 fucking
It's like
towns.
the size of this room.
Yeah,
Like,
there's
it's
like
a
4
itty-bitty
towns in
country.
Kuwait. Like it's not that big.
But I thought that was one of the mandatory service countries.
Mercedes Benz just like laying all over the place in Kuwait.
Yeah.
Well, that's what's weird
It's
about Europe
weird.
too, is you'll call a cab and it'll be a Mercedes.
Well, that's
With
different.
cloth
It's
interior.
different.
But with cloth interior and plastic everything and shit,
Yeah.
and you're like,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
it's like,
Still a Benz.
well, that,
Still Benz.
well, that's like Lexus only exists here.
So when I was in,
It's
when I was,
Nissan everywhere else.
It's
when I was
Toyota.
or Toyota.
when I was in Panama, like I'm kind of a car guy.
Yeah.
And there's car makers I've never heard of before there.
Yeah.
Like Greeley and a couple other ones. They had a Suzuki Jimny. It was like a Jimmy kind of, but it was called the Jimny. And yeah.
Well, they get they're saturated by the like. There's like over 300 Chinese automakers.
Well, it's like you have
There used to be
yeah.
more,
And they're all
Yeah.
knockoffs.
and they're all like. But they so I think they get a lot of.
But there was like a Ford Ranger SUV
Mhm.
that was kind of
Well,
cool.
they sell different shit in different parts of the world.
And
too.
Europe's like that.
Like
too.
here,
You
it's
see-
called a Forerunner.
Yeah.
In Japan, that's a surf. You know, but it's the same shit, just
Yeah.
different decals, right?
Well, that's like all
Some
of us
of
have
them-
all of
some-
us
some-
have seen them, and I think all of us would buy it as soon as it ever landed in the States.
Oh,
And if
Hilux.
the Hilux ever came here,
that's
Just
why I
only
drive
a
a
white
Tacoma.
one's-
it's
Only a white
fucking over. I would
Dude.
get a Hilux.
I don't give a fuck what color it is. I've watched them take fucking
Yeah.
anti-tank mines and just keep going.
Yeah, they're
They're
amazing.
fucking amazing, dude.
Or the in Africa they have diesel Rangers.
Yeah.
The new Ranger, but it's got the diesel
Yeah.
engine in it. And I'm like, but Europe and Africa and all those, they have like everything comes with a diesel option.
Yeah.
There's not a car out there that you can't get with a diesel engine.
Well, that's why I like Hilux so much because they were always
Hilux is
diesel.
amazing.
They're the best, man. That was like my daily driver when I was on contract in Iraq or in Afghanistan.
Well, it's like everybody here is super excited that the Range Rover is coming back, and it's like, or the not the
Defender?
Range Rover, the Toyota.
FJ.
No, the
Oh, the
Land Cruiser.
Yeah.
The
Oh.
Land Cruiser's coming back to the U.S. or they're making the Land Cruiser come. Like they never stopped. We're just getting it back.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, that's kind of been a thing for a while.
So Kuwait does have mandatory service.
I
It's
thought so.
kind of interesting. So when men turn 18, they have to complete a year-long military service and be a part of the reserve force for 30 days a year until they reach 45.
I
Yeah.
thought it was an appropriate day to drink that.
Until they reach what?
45 years old.
What?
They have to do
You're
30
just
days
in
a
the
year.
reserve service till you're
Oh.
45.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, it's probably like the inactive reserve though.
But that's no,
Maybe.
it's 30 days
Well,
of reserve service
30
a
days
year.
Yeah.
That
So
you
it's-
have to do. That's
it's-
one
wow.
weekend a month for
Yeah.
a year. Like,
I kind of respect that.
but that's also why.
Can you imagine that shitbag fucking AT though?
Oh my God.
Especially the guy that's like 43,
Yeah.
44. He's been
With-
doing it
with-
20 years. He's
with-
just like, fuck this.
With oil, fuck you money. He's just like,
But that's why you see those E3s with fucking Porsches, and it's like, well, he had to. Like,
yeah.
They're fucking worthless. Their military's fucking worthless. Those
Yeah.
guys aren't doing shit. So
I'm pretty sure Saddam proved that in
Yeah.
91. Yeah.
Wow. So if you want to get out of it, all you got to do is 2 years in jail.
that's
It's almost worth it.
Almost.
I'm
For
sure Kuwaiti jail's
45
wonderful.
years, yeah.
I guarantee you,
I still wouldn't be done with my service. Yeah. 2
I
years.
guarantee you, there's other loopholes. I guarantee you, it's like,
That's what
well,
I'm finding out
I
though,
do
yeah.
this
I'm the
for this
47th cousin
company,
of
or
the fucking prince.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then you're out. But like,
Yeah, what constitutes
How about
service?
I kill?
Like,
How about I just kill?
I bet you there's an active duty loophole too. I bet you it's like you have to do the year, but if you're willing to do 3,
Yeah.
then you don't have to do the reserve part afterwards or whatever.
So military training can also be delayed if candidates want to complete their studies, are single sons, or have dependents who are handicapped.
You know, that is out the same rule. That is similar rules here in America. If you're the
like
if
getting
you're
out
the
of your
sole,
contract?
if you're the sole fucking heir,
Male. If you're the sole male child,
yep,
then you don't have to join the draft.
yeah, that was the same rule when we had a draft. It was the same rule.
Well, we still have a draft. We just don't use it.
Yeah, well, selective service. I ever tell you my selective service issue? So I joined at 17.
Yeah.
So I was
Same.
on recruiter's assistance as a corporal back in New Mexico when I was 19 years old. And I'm sitting there and my cell phone rings. And they're like, hey, this is so-and-so from the selective service. You never, you're hereby ordered to appear because you never filled out your selective service stuff. And I was like, I'm a corporal in the United States Marines, man. And they were like, oh, I'll just shut up then, man. I'll take you off the list. And I was like, thanks, dude. I was like, I've literally been in 2 years, man.
It's shit like that that should let you know that when I talk about like people make celebrities out of politicians and shit like that, right there. That's the government at work right there.
Justin,
You currently
most of these guys are
for the
morons.
government and they can't figure
Yeah.
out. That's,
My social security number didn't change, guys.
Yeah.
Hey, do females have to join the selective service at this point?
nope.
Huh.
Still haven't changed that.
Still haven't changed it.
Equal opportunity, bitches.
So stupid.
I'm so pissed off that you don't have to fill out a 30-second card and mail it in.
That we're never going to use again.
But I've
Yeah,
also never seen a female with a Vietnam veteran hat on.
I know a couple though.
There's a couple. I mean, whether they wear the hats, I don't know. But there's fucking the nurses and all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're very, very few.
All right,
Twenty-
But
yeah.
if you go to a VFW, you'll find that
That one crusty old bitch
Yeah,
smoking
yeah.
Pall Malls in
Yeah.
the corner.
In the corner going,
shit talking you young pussies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back in my day.
And
I was
she's
washing
right.
blood out of slicks out of fucking
And-
Danang.
and-
I'll fuck your life. I'm like, whoa, okay.
and she's right. You're just sitting there going like, fucking,
Yeah.
in comparison? Yeah, you fucking.
China Beach.
Yeah. It was a good show.
I'm
It's a
not
great
gonna lie. I hate those hats. If that shit doesn't say World War II on it,
Yeah.
like
I bought one when I first got my Purple Heart just to be a smartass, and I was wearing it like flatten up, like backwards,
There's
flatten
a-
up and shit. And some girl tried to call me out. That was disrespectful. My father has a Purple Heart. I was like, so do I. And she was like, what? And I was like, new breed, bitch. Go fuck yourself.
there's a bar we go to
Oh,
because they're dog friendly, and there's a guy in there that's a regular, and he fucking always wants to harass my dog and shit. And he does that whole like comes and like hovers over my dog and like tries to grab her by the face and shit. I'm like, when that German Shepherd bites the fuck out of you, I'm not gonna stop her. Or, like,
right? Like you've done this.
but he has a Desert Storm veteran hat and he's got all of his fucking medals pinned to it and shit. And I just want to be like,
All 4 days of it, huh?
I'm like, what the fuck, man? So like,
I was at Home Depot earlier today and a taco pulled up with the flag on their shit like you have.
Uh-huh.
So I'm like, oh, Mikey. And then I'm like, oh, not a war hero. Like, nope, not Mikey. That was what went through my head. Like, nope, not a war hero.
have you seen this shit driving all over town? These guys that are getting veteran put real big, like across the fucking bed of their truck and like their whole back glass and shit. I'm like, my guy, it's San Antonio.
Yeah. Join the club, bro.
Everybody,
I'll throw a rock.
It's harder to find somebody that wasn't in the
Yeah,
service
right?
in this city. Like,
What, Jesus,
Like,
man.
we're just a supersized Fayetteville. That's like that's all this fucking place is.
Speaking of which, I was telling you, I'll be out in Oceanside next week.
Again, I query
so
why.
one of my best friends from the Marines was my roommate for years. My boy Long is now a major in the Marine Corps, is getting retired. He's retiring next Friday.
I'm
He's
not gonna
retiring.
lie, having your
cool.
name be Major Long.
Yeah.
That's his first name. His last name's Vo.
No,
He's Vietnamese as fuck.
nope, Major Long.
Right? Like I've told you about him. My Asian roommate that looked Mexican but acted black.
Yeah.
That guy. Most confusing dude ever. Yeah. So he's retiring next week. And he hits me up and he's just like-
OnlyFans.com/Major Long.
and he's just I'll pitch it to him.
Dude needs a retirement plan.
Dude. He's getting medically retired, apparently. And I was like, you're a comm guy. What the fuck did you do? I was like, hey, whatever, man. You've been an officer the last fucking few years, dude. I know you ain't doing shit. Fuck you, man.
Is it more than 3?
Yeah.
Fuck that,
That's-
dude. Get out. Get out.
Yeah.
You get paid based on your highest cumulative 3 years of pay.
Oh, yeah. No, he's been a major for at least 3 years.
Get the fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, take it.
Well, he's getting medically retired.
Good.
Yeah.
Fucking run and then go get your 100%. Fucking
These are- They're retiring him at 100.
double dip.
I asked him.
Fucking get that money.
That's what he did.
Fuck him.
Now, granted, Long did a lot of work in the military. Like he's done a lot of deployments,
get
a
your
lot
money.
of shit. Like me and him were sergeants together, and fucking even then we'd throw on a uniform. I'd be like, "Look at your fucking chesty puller stacked ass, man!" Like he was fucking had some tossed salad on him, and I was like, "What the fuck, dude?" So he definitely did a lot of work for the military, for the Marine Corps. But yeah, so he sends me a message, and he's just like, "I'm retiring this month." I'm like, "Thanks for the fucking heads up, guy." And he's like, "I didn't even know." I was like, "What?" I was like, "What do you mean you didn't know?" He's like, "I'm getting medically retired." I was like, I've been there. I've been through this fucking rigmarole. I understand exactly how that works. And I was like, "Well, what day?" And he told me. And I was like, "All right, bitch. Plane tickets bought. I'll fucking be there." And he's like, "Fucking for real?" And I'm like, "Yeah, man."
Somebody needs to make a fucking novelty ribbon for those that get medically retired for your retirement award. Because I always get that's just that with a crutch. It's just like a ribbon
Cross crutches.
with cross crutches on it, and it's just like
Well, I told you,
like the poison.
the
symbol.
order of the rose a crutching.
when I was
It's like
retiring,
this fucking
Frank, the piece of shit officer that I worked for, the worst battalion commander I ever had.
Fuck you, Frank.
Fuck you, Frank. Fucking cocksucker. Fucking Frank tried to give me a Navy Achievement Medal, which is like your guys' AAM.
Oh, Jesus Christ, really?
And I was like, dude, I already have like 2 Navy comms, one of them with a V, and 3 Purple Hearts. I'm like, you're giving me I already got 4 of these, dude. And I was like, tell you what, sir. I was like, if you give me that, I'm going to turn around and stick it on the corporal in the fucking color guard's chest and congratulate him. And I will do it in front of God and country. And he's like, well, then you won't get anything. I'm like, I didn't expect you to do your fucking job in the first place.
I think I'd rather get nothing.
Right. That's literally what I told him. I was like, I would rather get nothing, man. Like, my DD-214 is already going to be printed. like, I don't fucking care.
Just give me my DD-214.
Yeah. Like, because guess what? When I get out, guess what? It does not
Well, that's
fucking
like
matter.
when I told you about that email that I got in the award. I really had you read that email where I got the award fucking 7 years after I was out.
Yeah.
They were like, "Oh, we never gave this to you," and I was like, "Give us the address if you want us to mail you the citation and the actual medal." And I was like, "No, like, what the fuck do I care?"
It changes nothing, man.
Email the citation and leave it at that.
Yeah, I'm like, you
Oh, we
emailed
could
me.
do a ceremony right here. We could pin you right here.
I'm
fucking
good.
pin you.
I'm good. You know what?
Honor.
I don't need the promotion points anymore.
Pension orders. No, you did a supposing special trust and confidence in
Fidelities and abilities of
Jasbro.
do appoint this Marine a fucking shitbag
Yeah.
in the United States Army. Rank as such from the second day, because he got it meritoriously. On the second day of this month, 2023, this appointee will therefore carefully and diligently discharge the duties to the grade to which appointed by doing and performing all manner of things thereunto pertaining. And I do strictly charge and require, I fucking used to say this a lot. Strictly charge and require all personnel of lesser grade to render obedience to appropriate orders. I hate myself for remembering this.
As you should.
Best
God
speech
damn
I
it.
ever got was when I made sergeant, and I had my
Everybody give him a hand.
my team leader fucking do it, and he came out and he did the whole like attention to orders and did it, and he was like, "We here to promote this shitbag from a professional shammer to a leader of shammers," and he fucking nailed me right in the chest, and I was like,
Well, didn't
"We need to change it to this." So like, this is fucking
the
great.
Army used to have that, right? Didn't you guys used to have a Spec 5?
Well, way back.
Wait, yeah, but that's
might have been-
Vietnam,
That
dude.
might have been,
Like,
that might have
those-
been before Vietnam.
I think before Vietnam.
Yeah,
that was Korea.
Because
So-
that was like the leader of the sham, right?
Yeah.
Well, so,
So you
the way
stayed
it was
like a
supposed to
line
work.
dog.
Because it
not
was a
that-
sham shield with a rocker?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But
So-
you like that's you were able to
You could
like
get-
you were a line dog. You didn't have any fucking responsibility, but you're
Yeah.
like technically competent.
You can
kind
have.
of thing.
They even had E6s.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
were.
Tech 6.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
So-
something like that.
Well, so
yeah.
the way it worked, you had Spec 4, Spec 5, Spec 6. I think it topped at Spec 7.
Yeah. No, 6.
But
I
what
think.
they were is they were specialists. Like it was
Yeah, yeah.
supposed to be like
You're not a leader. You're just
so.
You're just
like
doing
it
your
would be the
job.
dude
like
that
a
can.
warrant officer.
It's like
Yeah.
a warrant officer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it
But
was
an
supposed to
NCO.
be like, all I do is fix fucking radios. And
Sort
I am
of.
so goddamn good at fixing radios that they don't want me to do anything else.
Yeah.
I get to
Yeah.
be better
I
and
didn't
better
even
and
get to
better.
shoot a rifle. I'm just
Yeah.
fixing this shit. Yeah.
And then, but yeah, we got rid of, and then the warrant officers became all of that. So the guys that come in and like fix the intranet in your SIPR room inside your garrison or whatever, those are always warrant officers. They don't send some enlisted guy to do that.
No, it's always enlisted guys.
And
Yeah.
not-
You guys don't
not in the
have
Army.
near the amount of warrants.
You don't have the personnel to do it.
No. Well, a warrant officer in us, like, you know, everybody's always like, oh, the elusive warrant officer. It's like, bro, my platoon commander was a warrant officer
Yeah.
for years. I've had company commanders that were warrant officers.
Really?
So, yeah. I used to see them all the time.
Ours are either
I don't-
crazy technicians or they're pilots.
Pilots.
One of my
Yeah.
former warrant officers, I went to his retirement last year. He retired as a Chief Warrant Officer 5,
Yeah.
which is like a gunner.
Yeah.
Is like a fucking that's a unicorn.
Yeah.
You don't ever see the 5 because it's just the little red stripe across.
Well, that in
the bar.
subdued shit, it looks like a fucking first lieutenant.
Yeah,
So.
yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah.
So for World War II, the ranks were private, private first class, technician 5th grade, corporal, technician 4th grade, sergeant, technician 3rd grade, staff sergeant, technician sergeant, master sergeant, first sergeant.
But then, see, that's all the spec stuff. So
Yeah.
I think you're probably reading what was pay grade, because there was no way that if you saw like a spec 5 and an E6, like a staff sergeant, and the staff sergeant, hey, go do this, and that spec 5 went belay that order, you're gonna go like, okay. Like, there's no fucking way. That had to be pay grade. Like that.
I think so. They're all. It seems like they're in order. So
I just feel like if you were a Spec 5, like that is the shammiest of the sham.
Fuck
man.
yeah, dude.
like your ass is.
To this day,
You're
I've
good
read
at
a bunch of
skating,
stuff.
dude.
But all the time that I was in, every time a warrant officer told me to do anything, I was always like, okay. And like I had to go check. I was like, am I supposed to do that? And they were like, no, don't. He's already forgotten who you are.
So what's
And I'm like,
what's the rule in the Army for warrant officer? Because in the Marines, you have to be at least
just
a staff
don't talk to
sergeant
them.
to be a fucking warrant
That's
officer.
that's the rule.
Yeah, our warrants
No.
actually do shit.
Our warrants actually do stuff.
So everything except aviation, I think you have to be an E6 to be considered. Like if you're a mechanic.
Yeah.
Well,
I think you come out of flight school.
Well,
is it
that's what I
two?
was doing. I
As
was putting a warrant
you know
officer when I
though,
was,
right?
when I was
Is
cross
it-
deck.
by the time you're ready to go, it's like you're a warrant officer 2 as a pilot.
Probably.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I almost did it until they told me it was going to be another fucking 6 years, and then I was like, I don't think I want to. But I almost
wanted
went,
to so bad.
I almost went to warrant officer candidate school to go be a pilot. I wanted to go fucking fly AH-64s.
That's what most of the fucking Marines I know that go in
And,
the Army do.
Yeah.
I wanted to go be a pilot until they were like, well, it's a minimum 6-year contract because you're in school for a year.
Yeah.
And when you come out, so you don't get to be a warrant officer. If I remember this correctly, and I realized the other day I've been out like over a decade now. So I was like, what is that?
Dave leaving.
Yeah, I realized I'd been out over a decade the other day, and I was like, Jesus.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I hit 9 years this
I was like,
month.
where the
Coming out.
fuck did all this time go? But you go in and you're a warrant officer candidate. So it's like being a cadet.
And then you get commissioned or you get a
But
warrant.
you get your warrant. But when you get the warrant, your time in grade started at the time you started warrant officer candidate
Yes.
school.
Yeah.
So you don't have the rank, but your time in grade starts.
Yeah, they do the same thing in the Marines.
So then when you graduate the school and you get to go, then you have to go.
Could be a pilot.
You have to go. There's additional shit to be a pilot. And then so by the time you actually get to touch a bird, you're actually already looking at your board to get warrant 2.
Yeah.
So that's why you very rarely see like a warrant officer 1
Because they're in school, yeah.
because
So-
they're just students.
Like my boy that I'm going out, he was a warrant officer. So he went from he made it from private to gunny, then went warrant officer 1, 2, 3, then became an LDO, which is a limited duty officer, where you go from chief warrant officer 3 to captain.
Huh.
And so he's an LDO, and then you get major, and you can go up to lieutenant colonel as an LDO. And you can't go any higher than lieutenant colonel. You'll never get a bird as an LDO, right?
But he doesn't have a degree.
No, I think he does now, but he didn't. I don't think.
But
he
you
needed
don't
to.
need one to go
Right.
do that.
No, you don't need one.
Wow.
It's called limited duty officer.
The Marine Corps got a lot of those nice
Nobody-
things.
Crazy.
Nobody fucking throws that out to people who are in.
Yeah, it's because it's very few and far between.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you can either go and so once you become a warrant officer, you have 2 paths. You can either go LDO, where you become a captain and a major and a lieutenant colonel, or you stick warrant officer and you end up becoming a chief warrant officer 5,
Yeah.
right? And
But
pay
like,
similar.
like in the
So-
army, the warrant officers aren't ever in a command position.
Nope.
Oh, I've had company commanders as
No,
No,
not
not
for
the
us.
Army.
Not for us. They're
Even
they're-
on an ODA,
they're either
even on an ODA, I don't think you get a guy. He's usually
No.
the XO.
Yeah.
Usually, maybe he's the fucking ODA commander.
but they're
I don't know.
they're either pilots or they're crazy specialists. Like they're
Well,
they're
the commo, you can have
You
a
get
commo.
comms.
you can have a
Supply,
common warrant,
you can have a
you can have a
supply,
supply warrant, like,
maintenance.
but they're
Yeah.
crazy specialists and they
Yeah.
operate at this like
Yeah.
this very
Well, that's what I was going.
very high level specialism and stuff like that.
Well,
So-
when I was kicking around the idea of cross deck into the Army, that's what I was going to go do. Is I was going to go be a maintenance officer and just fucking run like a maintenance
Shot.
Yeah,
Shot.
absolutely.
or some shit as a chief warrant officer.
There's warrant officers in the, what do they call it? Light wheeled vehicle maintenance
Yeah.
or whatever. There's warrant officers over there and they'll run like brigade level fucking
Yeah.
mechanic shops and shit like that. But I think
But-
they
but-
did it with
but they-
pilots for
but
the
they-
whole purpose
but-
of like, the pilots need a better life because they have to be rested to operate this fucking thing. But we can't just tell like an E6 or an E5 or whatever, like, oh, you don't have to do what the rest of the enlisted guys do. You just have to fucking fly your bird. So we have to give them something. And
Let's make them salute him.
but then
anyways.
officers, well, because I think all through Vietnam and stuff, all the pilots were officers.
Yeah.
Like for a long
no
time,
idea.
every pilot was an officer. But warrants can only fly rotor wing. They can't do any. They don't do any fixed wings.
I don't think there's
Oh,
any fixed wing. I don't think there's
I
any
don't
fixed.
know.
I don't.
Like
I have
there's
no idea.
there's no fixed wing warrants. They're all rotor.
Of course,
wing.
there's not that many Army pilots, fixed wing pilots, anyway.
No,
So-
we have very little fixed wing aircraft.
Well, we have an Air Force for that.
We have a Navy for that.
Also that.
But there are, and a lot of those guys, whatever they're doing down in El Paso,
But
and all
the,
that
yeah.
stuff. Yeah,
but the Army has more aircraft than any other branch of service.
They have more boats too.
More boats, dude.
More boats than the U.S. Navy.
Well, that's
Engineers.
because the Navy has ships.
So according
Plus,
to
ours are inflatable.
That is true.
according to the
We got
Missouri
those too.
National Guard, warrant officers do fly fixed wing.
There
Oh,
you
really?
go.
Do they?
Yeah.
That's Air Force.
but
No.
it's National Guard. You're Air
National
Force.
Guard.
So you're going to be national. You're a National Guard. You're Air Force.
Air National Guard.
So it's-
No.
Now,
What are they
well,
flying?
what
What's
are they
the
flying
what's the
now?
bird?
If it's small stuff,
Cessnas.
maybe.
Right.
I'm
Maybe
looking
little
right
birds.
now.
If it's small shit, possibly.
You know what? Speaking of ODAs and whatnot,
Yeah.
I felt today was an appropriate day to enjoy some horse soldier.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're listening to this on a whatever.
Yeah, but it's
We're
9/11.
recording
It's
on
9/11.
9/11.
Yeah, it's 9/11 today.
Be
22.
remiss
22
if we
years.
didn't say anything.
Can you fucking believe that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
22 fucking years, man.
I can. I think that when I said earlier the 10 years being out and 9
Yeah.
years being out and
Yeah.
the
15.
the 58 years you've been out or whatever, like it's been a while since anybody's made the joke.
Who was in before 9/11?
Me.
All
Okay.
three of you.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you went in before, right?
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
in
you were 97. I'm 99,
92.
92. Yeah. Yeah. Where were
So-
you, Jim, when 9/11? Where were you on 9/11?
So this is how much nothing mattered.
Right.
We've been playing. I was at Riley and we were doing
Cool. God.
we had just made like post flag football, like the playoff championship. We just won our first game.
And
So-
you were a lieutenant?
No, I was a captain. It's a company
Okay.
commander. So I'm going to my buddy's office and we're going to go over plays. And actually, we're going in to figure out some of the guys were on restriction, how we're going to unfuck it. Because we had some great wide receivers. And we're like, fuck that. We got to figure this thing out, right?
You've been a great
He was the
officer,
HHC
man.
commander. And he had a bunch of derelicts. And it wasn't like we barely won the
Hey.
game. And he's like, we got to get your guys off of restriction.
You're on restriction, but you're really good at this.
But you're fast.
We had some fucking big, fast fucking kids. So we're trying to figure it out. And his wife
I'm going
calls.
to commute your sentence.
It's exactly what we're
If you
doing.
can run.
His wife calls. She's like, a plane hit a building in New York City. I'm like, oh, that's odd. Like it had happened before. It hit the Empire State Building. It's kind of like a weird thing.
That was a Cessna.
Yeah, like a million years ago, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's fucked up. So we're fucking with his TV, and we're like, hey man, I'm like, I know our cable works in my fucking. So we go in the back of mine just as plane number 2 hits the fucking thing. Like turn it on. We're like, boom. We're like, are they? Oh fuck!
And
Like,
then
we-
you realize it's not a fucking
Then we were like,
Cessna.
oh shit. He's like, I gotta go. And we go. We
And
sit.
that's-
I got to grab my first son and like get everybody in.
I think
Everybody
that's
comes in.
everybody's story.
Yeah.
Is the first plane happened,
And it was like,
and so
eh.
everybody tuned in because it was like,
Yeah.
oh, this is a catastrophe.
Yeah.
And
But the
then
thing
the
is,
second one
I
happened.
just
You
turned
know
off.
what though? I think that's weird because now if a plane hit a building, well, what would it take right now for us to be like stop life and watch the news? Because back
assassination of
then,
somebody.
because back then it wasn't like cell phone feed. It wasn't
It's like
Yeah.
fucking
social media.
They straight up told us aliens were real and nobody gave a fuck.
Yeah.
It's because we already fucking knew.
Like
Yeah,
if it happened
that's true.
today, it would be like,
Well, we'd know right now.
well, we would know right now, but nobody's going to stop what they're doing and turn the TV on. And we all did on 9/11,
Yeah.
which is
Well,
weird to me.
All day
I
long.
was
man.
I was checking out my weapon at the armory 04. and Pendleton was 07
Yeah.
in fucking New York, right?
No. So 836 or 837 was the first fucking plane,
Yeah.
or 829, something like that.
Yeah.
So whatever,
So I was at the armory.
Yeah,
Well, I had to be there at 4 because
yeah.
the fucking van to the range didn't leave till 8.
Yeah.
But I had to be there at 4 because Marine Corps.
Yeah.
I was a senior in high school, and I was in my economics class.
I was a corporal.
So it was your first class.
It was my first
Halfway
Pittsburgh.
through
It was
first-
literally my first period of
Halfway.
economics, and then all of a sudden,
Oh, you were in Pittsburgh. You weren't even
I was
fucking
in-
far away.
no, the one that went down in the field happened
Fucking
like 30
Shanks-
miles away.
Shanks,
Yeah.
whatever the fuck.
And but the first one went down, we were in the econ class, and I remember my teacher's desk phone rang, and he picked it up, and he was like, "Hey, we're all going to go next door," because
That's weird.
I don't know. Well, every other classroom had a TV mounted in it instead of everyone had it, but only every other one had cable or I don't know. At any reason,
It's very Pittsburgh.
we went next door to that classroom and they turned it on, and so that we could see it,
Which is weird.
which is fucking weird. So that we could all watch, and so the whole classroom, we watched the second plane happen, and even then it was kind of weird. And my dad was in at the time, and then the plane, and then the Pentagon happened, and then the one went down in the field.
Yeah,
and by
Shanks-
second period, my dad showed up and checked me out of school and was like,
Dude, they went fucking crazy. So we're trying to get everybody in, and then we're trying to watch it too.
Yeah.
So everybody's like, we moving phones to like the back of the fucking orderly room so we could fucking talk to dudes. And I had a guy who was doing this poor fucker, he was in Grenada, got out, and then went back in and shit. He was one of my best E7s. Like, this guy was a badass. 82nd Airborne
Just
Combat.
salty as fuck.
He was salty as fuck. So his parents are in outer fucking Mongolia doing a fucking, like, some kind of fucking retreat thing. That motherfucker, as soon as he found out, he was in Ulaanbaatar, like fucking, he got his ass back to fucking Beijing and flew back before some of my dudes were coming off leave. They're like, oh, we're halfway across the country. This motherfucker's like,
I was in China, bitch.
Fucking
What's your
China,
excuse?
he fucking
That is the
got-
most salty E7
He
fucking
was
thing to do
awesome.
ever. I'll be like, oh, you couldn't make it on time? I was in fucking Beijing.
I mean, I had guys in leadership position, but there were certain guys like I wanted my guys.
Sure.
And I'm like, and he's like, he already fucking called like that afternoon. He's like, what do I got to do? We're like, dude, where are you? He's like, I'm trying to get back to fucking Beijing. It's like 47 fucking time zones away, but I'm going to get there. We're like, all right, figure it out, man. And the fucking Chinese got it. Like, they fucking, like, hey, and got him back or whatever. But everybody, it was fucking crazy. And
it was
then,
a
like,
wild time.
we're going to roll tanks to the front gate. My battalion commander's like, oh, we're going to like trying to talk everybody off ledges because we're like going to do all this stupid shit. They were running fucking full patrols through the housing areas with fucking manned up weapons and shit.
Yep.
It was fucking stupid.
I remember Pendleton shut the fuck down. And my
I'm sure it
wife
is.
at the time, now ex-wife, was on her way to work. And some fucking MP walked out in traffic, was like, stopped her and was like, ma'am, if you leave, you're not getting back on. And she's like, what do you mean? He's like, we're shutting down the base. She's like, but I live here. And he's like, we don't give a fuck.
Yeah, at this point.
If you
yeah.
leave, you're not coming back on. You can leave, but you're not coming back on. You need to know that. And she's like, okay. So she called me and she's like, what the fuck is going on? And I was like, well, we're fucking under attack,
Yeah.
clearly. Right. And she's like, what do I do? And I was like, stay at the house.
Go home.
You know, I was like, go home. I'll be home in a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, like, fuck.
So I lived off base, and the first plane hit when we were wrapping up PT. And so I'm driving to my house off base to change and whatever, right?
Yeah.
And I get off base and I'm listening to, I think I had XM at the time. So I'm listening to Fox News or whatever the fuck. And I heard, they're talking about the second one hit and then the Pentagon and shit. And then I couldn't get back on base for fucking hours. And then when I got back on base, I couldn't leave base for days.
Yeah.
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 They didn't know what to do.
Nobody knew. They did everything.
They did everything.
They did everything.
Yeah.
No, they absolutely did.
Yeah.
So I got checked out of school. My dad checked me out, and he was the commander for ROTC at the University of Pittsburgh because he had gotten a letter that was just like, congratulations, you get to go be the shaper of young minds. And so he checked me out.
Yippee.
College or ROTC?
At University of Pittsburgh. Yeah. And he sent me to go get Justin because he was in daycare. And so I went.
You are a fucking baby.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for it since we
Holy
started
fuck.
this conversation.
He was just as like, I shit my diaper. I shit my diaper when the second one hit.
So
when my daycare lady brought us all in to watch the second plane.
So
Here comes the airplane.
I'm gonna freak out a bunch of fucking 4-year-olds.
No, you weren't even 4.
No,
You were fucking 2, weren't you?
no, he was 3.5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes it better.
He was 3.5 years old.
I broke him.
I have a son that's like your age, so I
Yeah,
know.
he was 3.5 years old. So I went and picked him up and went home. And
Fuck.
and you want to talk about they did everything?
Uh,
My father at that point was teaching ROTC, but he was originally an 11 Alpha, and then he had gotten a letter saying that he was functional area PSYOP before they stood the branch up,
right.
and then they stood the branch up and they crossed him and just said like, "Congratulations, you're a 37 Alpha now too for PSYOP." And you want to talk about they did everything? They were calling him, going, "Hey, we know you teaching ROTC right now, but we're under attack. We're making sure that we have good comms on everybody that has functional areas and anything that we're going to need for this wartime effort." And and it was
Shit moved fast, bro.
Jeez.
Did your dad get called back to that?
yeah.
He got called
He
back?
got moved back over. Well, he got moved back over to a combat element. He got taken out of TRADOC, and and because I think 7 deployments.
Fuck.
I think 7 or 8. Yeah.
So
So
he-
7 or 8 deployments.
He thought he was done, and then he's back in the mix.
Oh, dude, he got the chance to go be a fuck, and he was like, and because at the time he was a captain, and so this was the whole like, dude, I'm gonna go get it. ROTC command
this
as a
is-
captain
This
instead
is
of bullshit,
this
like
is
whatever.
my chill fucking.
Yeah, right. He was gonna chill
one,
out in the
yeah.
middle, and that's also when he decided to go to war college and like all that kind of stuff. It was the I'm gonna go fucking just work on everything, and then it was like, congratulations, now we're in the shit, and so obviously he like continued to do that, had the deployments, did great stuff, made field grade, made major, and then because I didn't go until later, like I wasn't the 17-year-old enlistee,
Yeah.
so I didn't go until later. But I'm glad I waited.
You gotta want it though.
Yeah, that was the thing. Is I'm really glad I waited because
You also not having options helps too.
So I went from being active duty to like training in the back 40 and not having any money. Like we didn't even have money for blanks as infantry guys.
But a jam.
Yeah, we're
But
literally
jam.
we're yelling,
Yeah.
bang at each other.
Yeah, we had fucking goddamn golf carts. Okay,
Yeah,
golf carts.
It was
going
bad.
bang. We didn't have a gun. Not even a broomstick or a big log.
Like,
Right.
like there was like I went from like I'm an infantry guy who wants to go to war like every infantry guy does, right? To like I'm never gonna see combat.
Yeah.
To like
Peacetime Marine Corps.
I'm
fucking
never
sucked.
not gonna see combat.
Dude.
You know,
Yeah.
like,
Peacetime Marine Corps fucking sucked.
Yeah.
It was junk on the bunk inspections and
Yeah.
bullshit. Because up until that point, we're always training for war, always training for what's going to happen, always training, always
Yeah.
training, always training. And then when the shit went down, we were like, oh,
What do we do?
oh,
it's happening.
it's like, I'm sad because of what happened. And full disclosure, before the comments section freak out about my fucking airplane joke, I lost an uncle that day who was NYPD. Go fuck yourselves, all right? All right, I can laugh about it. It's how I cope with trauma. All right, fucking.
I'm not gonna lie.
It was 22 years ago.
What airplane joke?
when he was
Here
talking about he was in
comes the
Digger, and he was like,
airplane.
"Here goes the airplane."
Why do you think he broke?
I instantly thought, I was like, I know somewhere in this country there was a kindergarten teacher that was going, "Here comes the airplane," you little kid. And then someone busts through the door and be like, "You aren't going to believe what just happened."
It was like, oh, they hit the second tower. I was kidding. I was kidding.
They're flying the airplane spoonful of food into the mouth.
Somewhere those two things were happening at the same time.
What a shit show.
I don't know. I'm kind of happy that I only served during a wartime military.
Especially with the way things are fucking now.
The
It's fucking
The
insane.
peacetime
Yeah.
fucking sucked.
But the thing
I'm
is
happy to see both, but
Priorities
I was
were
in.
wrong.
And we'd already been at war for a couple years,
Yeah.
and so the military only operated it at wartime capacity.
Yeah.
Like that's my only experience with the military. So a lot of the stories that people have about like this bullshit or that bullshit or whatever. I mean, I was also in a specialty, so mine was different anyways.
Yeah.
Well, you're bragging.
But
They
the
were in
fact
the
that
middle of
it
it.
was only wartime military, a lot of the
like up until
I got to see it at full capacity. Like I didn't even have to see the ramp up. Like it was, it was
ramp
just
up
like
fucking hurt.
I only
That
saw
sucks
like
because we were figuring out what the fuck we were
no.
doing.
At this point, it was already like
I'm talking about before, like when during the ramp up, that shit was painful.
But
Because we were just like, fuck
all
me.
of mine, everything had been.
And Bush had just gotten in, so the fucking money had just gotten turned on. I mean, when the money came, it was fucking stupid
Yeah.
because they were buying all kinds of shit.
Can confirm.
So yeah, no, the peacetime sucked. You did inspections, then you went to JRTC or NTC,
Yeah.
and then maybe you got a Bosnia rotation. So I got 90 days.
We were just going to Okinawa
And you guys are going to Oki or
and doing
float.
Westpacks.
The coolest thing I did
floats
was,
and Westpacks.
Yeah.
until we deployed, the coolest things I did was I went to West Point to train cadets one year, which was fun. We had a beer tent. It was awesome.
John had a better time
John had a good time.
He was on the Recondo fucking.
because he was the swim guy or
Swim
whatever.
guy,
He was
Ricardo
chilling.
lane, yeah.
He
You guys
told me
have,
that
you guys have
story.
told us the West Point
Yeah.
story.
And then I deployed to Montana one year to fight
did the
forest
fires.
fires.
That's cool.
That was cool.
I didn't know that until you busted out those photos.
I found all my military pictures, which is good for you because I have a couple of me not humping ordnance.
I've only ever seen Scott humping things
How
while
come
in uniform.
every fucking person has
Everybody.
to have one of those?
I have.
If
all
you
of
have
those.
access to something large caliber,
You make it your dick.
we'll just say
Yeah.
we'll just say large caliber.
Yeah.
You're either gonna hump it or it is your dick. So
Yeah.
like it's one of the two.
You
One of
put
the-
your little caliber up against it.
One of the things we don't have in the Marines are paladins, but the Army had paladins.
Mhm.
And when I got to Kuwait, it was the first time I got to put hands on a paladin because they were all parked there. And I, for fucking sure as fuck, just hung upside down on the barrel. Was like, I'm on a howitzer on a tank. Whee! And I have a picture of me like hanging like, I think I'm wearing a sign that says I heart midget porn at the same time.
It's appropriate for a paladin.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll say it again, Mikey. You got to start writing this book, dude.
I saw a video the other day that was talking about somebody did like an on the street interview or whatever and found these two young chicks. Like, how much should a guy spend on a ring? And the first one was like, they're not spending at least $100,000. And I was like, $100,000. I was like, what happened to the 2-month salary? It like,
That's what it was, right? It's 2 months salary.
$100,000.
That's the rule.
the fuck? I was like, what happened to 2 months salary?
What's
And this guy, but it breaks to this other, and he's like, hold on. If you're gonna spend $100,000, let me tell you what else you can buy. And he was like, $100,000. This is an LMTV. You can buy one of these for $55,000 right now.
Yep.
And they were like, and then the main battle tank out of England,
The Challenger.
Challenger 2.
you can buy one of those for like $85,000.
Yep.
No, he's been looking.
Oh yeah.
They were like, you can buy one of the, or no, $75,000. And they were like,
They're more now.
but if you really want to splurge, you can buy a Tiger 1 for $200,000. And they were like, and right here, and he showed the law, and it was like, yes, as an American, you can own a tank. He was like, so before you spend $100,000 on some bitch that's just going to leave you,
No. Not
Get a tank.
on a ring that some bitch can lose because they're tiny.
Not losing a tiger.
You're not losing a tiger. You're not going to misplace it. It's not, you know what I mean? It's there, right? Buy the tank.
I mean, if you've got $100,000 to blow in a ring, you certainly have $200,000 to blow in a
That's
fucking
true.
tiger.
and by the way, if you propose with a tank and she says yes, you found the right one.
Yeah.
Shang-Chi can pull maintenance on the tank.
But if it requires you to spend a certain amount on a trinket, and let's call it what it is, it's a fucking trinket.
It's a trinket that means nothing.
So
That's what it took for her to say yes.
So
You're
I-
with the wrong one.
I spent some money on an engagement ring. And
For Michelle?
Yeah.
Did she give a shit?
No.
yes. she
Here's
likes those things.
Here's my story.
Let him say
They
it.
have a crystal in it.
I have upgraded a
Was-
couple times.
Was there a crystal?
I've upgraded a couple times since we've been married. So yeah.
Yeah. I can proudly say that after 13 years of marriage, my wife has the same $60 gold band that I bought her.
My wife was not like attached sentimentally to anything I gave her back then. She traded it in on something better as we progressed.
Dude, we went to
Yeah, but see, that actually is also a symbol of like, I got you what I could
Yeah.
when I could.
when I could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as I've improved our life
Yeah.
and we've worked together to improve shit.
And when you trade it in, they give you like the 100% value if
Yeah.
you spend twice as much.
Imagine that.
I've done that twice.
So my grandparents were the same way.
Yeah.
My grandfather, he's told me the story. It was literally like a $17 silver band.
Yeah.
Silver band, just a little band of silver, and that's what they got. That's what they got married with. And then to this day, though, my grandmother still wears her wedding stack, and it's like 3 gold bands and 2 other gold bands that have emeralds in it. She doesn't wear a diamond. She doesn't. It's like my wife wears that garnet, which is her birthstone, and it's also can only be mined in the country we met each other in.
That's
like it's the
cool.
only place it comes from.
That's
Also my birthstone.
So that's why so her ring has a story.
Yeah.
It's not as expensive as having to buy a diamond, but really until the 50s, nobody fucking bought diamonds anyway.
So my wife now doesn't wear it at all, hardly. She wears these rubber ones.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, and these are $4.52.
Like, so it was funny when Haley and I, so the engagement ring was actually a ring that I'd bought for my mom that I never got to give her, right? She passed away before I was able to give it to her,
I'm
right?
not going to make the joke. I'm not going to make the joke. Not going to do it.
So I gave it to Haley, right? But when it came time for a wedding band, we go to the mall because that's where all of the fucking jewelry stores are.
Right.
So we go to the mall, and I'm sitting there and I'm talking to the salesman. I'm like, I just need a wedding band, man. And he's like, oh, how about this one? And he's pulling out all these big ones. And Haley's like, no. And he's like, oh, what about this one? She's like, how much is that one? And she points at one and he's like, this one? And she's like, no, to the left. And he's like, this one. She's like, no, the one between those two. And he's like, this one? And it's just a tiny, plain fucking gold band. And she's like, yeah, how much is that? He goes, $60. And she's like, that's what I want. And he looks at me and I go, yeah, it's like that. I was like, my maintenance fees are low, homie. And he was just like, looked at me like, you lucky motherfucker. He's just like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? And I'm like, yeah.
That's like we're doing this, whatever you want to call it, wedding, vow renewal.
Yeah.
It's
whatever,
a wedding.
Whatever it's we're finally having a wedding because we eloped.
It's a wedding.
And we're fine. But
You eloped to the Alamo.
yeah.
Remember it.
It's at the last stand. But but we're having but the whole reason is like we were going to go anyways. Now we're just essentially paying for a bigger party for all of our friends to go with us and to hang out. We can do this. So it's more of a vow renewal. The government's already involved.
Yeah.
But this is there's no more jewelry involved. There's no more any of that. But you know, we waited till we could do it the way we wanted to do it.
I appreciate that.
And you know, that's what it's got to. That's what it's got to be.
That was the best, man. Because Haley and I, what we wanted to do when we first talked about marriage was we wanted to do a drive-through wedding in Vegas with like all of our nearest and dearest wearing tuxedo tees. That was our idea. Remember, this is 2 bartenders getting married at the time, right? We were having this conversation. And then it came down. It was like, maybe we just do the courthouse. So we still did the tuxedo tees, but we just did the courthouse. And then someday we were talking about it, about doing like essentially very similar to what you're doing, like a vow renewal, right? Like just getting renewed and just doing it again, like wherever, right? And we were thinking about doing our original idea, which would be the drive-through in Vegas, you know. But she had never been to Vegas until like a couple of years ago when I brought her there, right? Last year for our 10-year our 10-year anniversary. Fuck, we just hit 13, so I guess it's 3 years now. But I was like, you still want to do Vegas for that? And she's like, yeah, it'll be fun. Like, you know, like just like with the homies, right? Like just with all of our friends just to go and do that. But she's like, I could take it to leave Vegas. And I was like, yeah, welcome to the club. Like all of us can take it.
You've been there now.
You know?
Yeah. You've seen this city. It's
Well, it took that to get there, you know, like
Michelle would be pissed off at me if I spent $100,000 on a ring.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, Haley would fucking leave me and take fucking half of that money. And
if I spent $100,000 on anything that wasn't property,
yeah.
I think my wife would be like,
the fuck is wrong with you?
the fuck?
Yeah.
If I couldn't turn that $100,000 into like fucking some kind of rental,
Yeah, like
or money making
or like
venture.
like the business. Like
But Julie would fuck you up.
I think I paid $3,800 for her ring.
I'd actually like to see a fight between you and Julie.
I kick her fucking knee that's not supposed to even fucking work out.
It's still working.
Yeah, I
all
don't know
She's
how
been
to-
walking around doing CrossFit on a broken leg for like 4 years, bro.
I think she just
Like-
kick your ass with one leg.
She is a
Like,
fucking beast, man.
Chicks don't fight fair. They like pinch. And
that means they fight.
Yeah. Like,
I know.
I'm not.
They're in it to win it, man.
I'm not a boxer. Like, I'm not going to say, yes, boy, what? Fuck off. I'm 5'7" and 160 pounds. I'm going to hit you with a chair. Like, I don't. Wasn't a fair fight. You're goddamn right.
I've never been in a fight though where I have to go, ow, fuck. Like
It'll stop.
it does stop it.
See, where guys go for like the knockout punch, girls grab each other by the hair and try to do that helicopter thing dudes do with their kids, just by the hair. that's their knockout blow.
I saw a video of some protesters, and some chick walks out and grabs this protester who's sitting in blocking traffic, grabs this chick by the hair and fucking drags her the fuck out.
I've seen that. Yeah.
I was just
My
like,
still favorite one was
oh, she was raised right.
even though Burning Man went all fucking side because it rained in the desert.
Yeah, Raining Man.
Yeah, yeah.
But when everybody was trying to get there, there was those people that blocked the one road in
Oh,
and
so
didn't think
good.
about the fact that it was reservation land.
Them tribal cops don't fucking
Fucking
play,
the tribal,
dog.
so they were like, "Fucking move, or we will move you." And they were like, "We're not," and they fucking like chained themselves to the barrier. So they just ran into the barrier and pushed
They
the
were trying to say
barrier out of the
something.
way with everybody chained to it. And just
What were they protesting and burning?
Climate change.
Climate, it's environmental.
They were mad
activists.
that this was supposed to be an environmentally protected place, and so all these people were going in to ruin the environment. And it was like, okay, we've done a lot of fucked up things to the Native Americans in this country.
Do you know how much fucking money it's going to make
Do
them?
you know what you really shouldn't do now? Get in the way of the tribe and their money.
Yeah, no
and
shit.
see what happens.
Yeah.
It took 30 fucking seconds for them to be like, oh, fucking hell no, white
Yeah.
guy. I don't need your fucking help.
One of them.
I've been seeing a bunch of videos of now that Burning Man's over and people are going in and taking videos of all the shit that's left behind. And it's like cars and boats and like,
Well, it's because they couldn't
Well,
get it out.
It was
Yeah.
a
So this
fucking
with but there was like
disaster.
but there was like $100,000 custom Jeeps and stuff that got stuck,
Yeah.
They get what they get.
so they just like abandoned them. And
I
I'm like,
saw-
I'm a Jeep girl.
do you know what's going to happen?
Apparently not.
The tribe's not going to let anybody else in, and they're just going to go pick up all that shit.
I saw this video of this
Design-
And
Ram,
good for them. Fucking
this Ram TRX pulling a camper through the mud, getting out. He's
Yep.
like, he's getting it.
yep. Yeah, I don't have any sympathy for the Burning Man people that
You
went
know,
and
I
fucked
wouldn't
all
mind
that shit
doing
up.
that. That's kind of on my bucket
that
list.
the super wealthy
Just
go
to
have a
see
party in the
What,
desert.
Burning Man?
Yeah, why not?
You better get on the lottery now, and you can go in about 10 years.
Really?
It's so fucking hard to get tickets.
Oh, I didn't know
Really?
you needed tickets. I
it's
just thought you showed up.
No, it's all ticketed,
Oh,
and every
really?
event has more money, and that's why everybody that goes is
I didn't know that.
I didn't know
they're
that.
all everybody that goes either goes into insane debt to do it, or they're already wealthy.
Huh.
That is a rich man's
What's,
party now.
I did
what's the
not
other?
know
What's
that.
the other one? There's another one that's out in California on the desert. They always do.
Coachella.
There's a bunch of
Bondurant.
wannabe
Fucking-
Burning Mans
yeah.
that are out there now.
Fuck it. We got rednecks.
Rednecks
go.
is the way to go.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's literally the same thing except for fucking like hillbillies.
Yeah,
It's like
it is.
yeah, like the same shit.
Oh wow, I didn't know. So apparently, Burning Man has up to 80,000 people in the temporary. I didn't know it was that fucking big.
Oh,
it's
it's massive, dude.
I thought it was like a few thousand or
Find
something.
the price of Burning Man tickets.
My ex girlfriend.
I saw some people that went
She's
that
a
got
Burning
picked.
Manner.
I saw some people that like got tickets that I wouldn't consider wealthy, and I have a hard time believing they waited 10 years
Yeah.
to do it.
Yeah,
I bet you there's levels.
I know some fucking chuds who've gone to Burning Man
Yeah.
who were like just burn out, fucking worthless,
Yeah, you
shitless
you can
liabouts.
drive. If I throw some spikes on your car, and you'll look like a fucking whatever.
So apparently, it's a minimum of $800 just for a ticket and a parking spot. But I wouldn't be surprised if that was like directly through Burning Man. But if I had to guess, that's one of those places where like bots buy them up and then they resell them for like
Probably.
fucking crazy expensive.
Well, as long as you can get the tickets, I guess you can always figure it the fuck out. No. Anyway,
Yeah. Anyways, well, this has been a roller coaster of a fucking ride today, boys.
We
Sign it off, I guess. Right?
We learned nothing.
We never do.
That's 4 years.
no, we did.
Like we never do. Hey, we're looking for more sponsors. They're fucking kids. All right. So if you have a business or have connection to a business,
I
that
got
would
it.
like
Stop
to.
tagging celebrities. Go tag companies that want to pay to sponsor this fucking
There
shit.
you go. Yeah. So we're looking for something new. We're looking for some new sponsorships. And so hit us up. You can email us, freedomfriendspodcast@gmail.com. And we'd love to talk to you and have that conversation about potentially starting a new business venture. I can give you numbers and shit when the time comes. Hit us up. Also, tell your mom.
Tell your friends.
Tell your fucking mom's friends.
Tell your friends' moms.
Them too.
Yeah.
Preferably them.
Yeah.
I like my friends' moms.
Oh, I got a side thing.
You got a side thing?
So I'm watching TV and the show I'm watching ends and something just automatically starts playing. And it's like a dating show. And it's all these hot 40, 50-year-old moms. And they're going to date all these younger guys.
Oh, but it's all their
Oh,
fucking...
it's like the cougar fucking
It's
thing.
all of their sons.
Yeah.
Holy
so
fuck.
they fucking, all of them have sons.
Yeah.
And all of their sons are the other contestants dating other women on the show. Yeah. I've seen that.
So I got sucked into that for an episode
Yeah.
or two.
That'll do it.
Yeah.
That'll do it.
I'm like, what the
Sometimes
fuck?
you got to love some trash TV,
Yeah.
right?
There's not a lot of that anymore.
Yeah.
You used to be able to watch Jerry every fucking day and
Right.
be like, I got my fucking trailer trash film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's also how we got Cash Me Outside. How about that?
How
No,
about
that was Dr. Phil.
That was
That
Dr.
was
Phil.
Dr. Phil.
Yeah.
That was later in the. Remember Sally Jesse, Jerry was out there.
Ricky Lake.
Ricky Lake, the
Lake.
fat chick. I was.
Yeah.
What was the fat chick's name?
She was Ricky Lake, but she was fat. Ricky Lake still would have got it.
Yeah.
And when she got skinny, she definitely would have got it. Like Ricky would have got
I
it.
didn't know she got skinny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What happened to Ricky Lake? She got some disease, right? Or something?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know either.
I had a buddy of mine that was on Jenny Jones.
That's
I
enough.
had a chick I dated that was on fucking Jerry.
Yeah.
Oh,
She went to she went to UNH, and it was my friend's addicted to male strippers. So she was in a sorority,
Hilarious.
and her friend. So they got them all. Like,
it wasn't her.
It wasn't her, but it was like her
Oh.
friend is like, and she's like, I don't know how. I didn't ever really ask how. Like, but they flew them all out there and they did the fucking show.
A buddy of mine was on.
That's the most white trash thing I've ever
It's
heard about
fucking
you.
so
Is you
stupid.
dated somebody that was on Jerry.
She was a
my
sorority
buddy,
sister
my buddy
from UNH.
Larry was on Judge Judy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because his ex-wife burned his military uniforms.
That's awesome.
Yeah. He won. He won
We're
the
gonna
case.
adjudicate this shit on fucking Judge Judy.
Fuck.
He told me the whole story. He's
That's
like,
awesome.
it's a trip, man, how it all works. Him and I were stationed together at my last unit. And yeah, good dude.
Yeah.
Anyways, and also listens to the show for some reason. So that's the
There
caliber
you
of
go.
folks that listen to the show.
It's fucking
The
awesome.
people that go on Judge
Oh,
Judy.
I gotta
listen
shout.
to the
I
show.
gotta shout somebody out real quick.
Yeah.
So there's a guy that I know who's a relative, but he works in an office with all lesbians and everybody else where he works with. He's the only straight white guy, and he listens to the show.
So he's the devil.
He's the devil.
He
And,
blasts the show.
Yeah, and so thinking about you. I'm glad you're listening, and I hope you hear this. Yeah. Anyway.
Anyways. Yeah. So sponsors, they're in the links are in the fucking description. Check them out. Do all that. 3 little things, guys. Not hard to do. Pretty easy. Actually, before we get to that, I'm gonna raise my glass.
Yeah.
Pour me a little of that.
Got you, pal.
There we go.
I'm gonna raise my glass. Thank you, boys, for being my freedom friend. And on this solemn day,
Yeah.
of 9/11, we haven't forgotten. We're never gonna. I know it sounds cliche and it's kind of weird, but 22 years ago, some fucking terrible shit happened, and
Changed all of our lives.
we remember it.
For a long time.
And we're never going to stop. And to those families out there who lost people in the subsequent years, as well as that terrible day, my condolences, and I'm here for you. And on behalf of the Freedom Friends, there's really only 3 things that we can keep doing, right? And that is, Jazz,
Smoke on.
Ooh, drink on.
and goddamn it, kids,
Freedom the fuck on.
later.